Hey everyone, Brian Von Vier here, back at it again with another set of D&D stories. Today, we have a little bit of a twist on everything. What are some ideas that started as a random joke from the player, but evolved into so much more? Part 2. I watched Shrek before a session once. We were about to be ambushed, so we all rolled perception to see if we would be able to stop a surprise round. Everyone else rolled great. I rolled a nat 1. As a joke, my character quoted Donkey saying, "Hey yo man, I like that boulder. That's a nice boulder." Then our DM had us roll initiative, and I rolled another nat 1. My character became entranced by the boulder for 2 turns. From then on, any nat 1 perception checks from my character meant he would remember that boulder. Funny thing about that, there was a time where I would only roll 1s or 20s essentially. Thus, I remembered that boulder quite a lot. Eventually, we met the king of the nation my character was from. The big bad evil guy was the advisor to the king, who was summoning creatures to attack adventurers. We didn't know that. So, the DM had us roll a perception check to see if something was off about the scenario. I rolled a nat 1. My character then decided to talk to the king about the boulder. I decided to mess with my DM a little and proceeded to ask if I could persuade the king to put the boulder on the national flag. Nat 20. I accidentally taught a teenager in our medieval environment the word yeet. One of our party members got launched by a wind wall as she was praying to Bahamut. We don't know why her power activated then either. My character cracked a joke about her having yeeted our ranger so hard into the sky that he must have broken some ribs. The other player played along with it. Said ranger then proceeded to ask what a yeet was, to which my character explained it was slang in his hometown for throw. The teenager, the Bahamut worshipper, renamed her wind wall to yeet on the spot. Our party's resident cat, not a tabaxi, but a player actually playing as a sentient talking cat, somehow managed to tame a giant swamp snake and named him Simon. We rode him through the swamp, bypassing the dangers, and eventually had to say goodbye to him as we left the area for further adventures. Later, we were trapped in a scary crypt, being chased by some huge snake. So, naturally, our resident cat waves to it and says, "Hey Simon, how'd you get here?" He rolls to tame the giant snake and actually rolls so high that the DM determined that, even with there being no conceivable way that this is the same giant snake we left an ocean away. Nope, that's Simon all right, so we had Simon help us break out of this crazy crypt. Not sure how he managed to get here or why he was guarding an ancient tomb, but I get the feeling that this isn't the last we've seen of Simon the giant snake. This reminds me of the whole warehouse post. "You see a warehouse up ahead." Is that like a werewolf, but they turn into a house?
It is now.
Sure, I guess I'll make a wizard. His name is Jim.
What? Jim. Does he have a last name?
Dark magic.
Oh my god.
Was that a Penny Arcade reference? I swear to God. Mine would be my curtains. Just days before opening of our players' tavern, someone accidentally misfired a wand and set the stage curtains on fire. After some very inept firefighting, they got the fire under control, and for some inexplicable reason, one of my players said, "Well, it's a good thing that this will never, ever happen again." 3 days later, at the grand opening, a fire broke out, and they, again very ineptly, used the new replacement curtains to put out the flames. The curtains have since burned once more, been sliced up to make a rope, caught a heat-leaching fungus, and were stolen as a joke. And the player who owns the tavern has come up with his very own interpretation of Cabbage Guy from Avatar. Good times. We have a running joke in my game that the party actively looks forward to now. Our sorcerer has wild magic. Early game, we had a table of potential things that could happen, where most of the random surges of magics were either not super helpful or had potential to make combats worse. One of the bad results was summoning a nightmare. First time we summoned the nightmare, there wasn't a lot of fanfare, and the entire party ganged up on it, killing it before it got a turn in the initiative. Second time we summoned the nightmare, we once again ganged up on it and killed it before it got a turn. But this time, the sorcerer asked if it was the same nightmare as before. For fun, the DM said yes. Once we entered higher levels, our sorcerer gained some control of her wild magic, and most of the potential effects were helpful. But DM made sure to alter the list so the nightmare was still something we could summon. It became the main running joke of the game that we were ruining this poor nightmare's life and constantly summoning him against his will. Last time we called him, he had a saddle. DM told us he'd allow himself to be tamed by a rider, hoping the rider would protect him from the weirdos who kept yanking him into the material plane just to kill him for no reason. I was in a Christmas one-shot where all of our characters were elves in Santa's workshop. As we were introducing our characters, the other players kept joking how P, a tiny 1-foot-tall barbarian, would eat glue and steal doors. Throughout the campaign, he ate the naughty and nice list, stole a door from the workshop, threatened to eat one of the reindeers, and used the door as his main weapon. While the rest of the players and I convinced him to travel further into a cave for glue, and even used that same door as a sled to get over a ravine. After sledding on it, the door got additional frost damage, which I thought was pretty neat. Mine was wisdom is stored in the chest and nuts, and is now canonical that a goddess boosted almost everyone's chest size proportional to their wisdom. So now Zariel is packing huge honkers in the world. My dad told me a story once where his character had an arch-nemesis mage who was supposed to be a low-level bad guy and flee at the end of the fight, to maybe be brought up again a few levels later. At some point, each of the now higher-level heroes got a small wish granted, and he chose some kind of portal. Not big enough to go through entirely, but to stick a hand through it. His character used the portal to randomly spawn his arch-nemesis and drop little messages like, "I know you live here. We're coming for you." Prompting the mage to pack up his stuff and change places, which obviously didn't work, again and again, because apparently the heroes could find him even in the most obscure places. We've got a joke that has crossed campaigns from one group's Ravnica's 5th edition campaign to a different game in Pathfinder's 2nd edition campaign. In Ravnica's campaign, we had, I forget what snake race the PC was, but he was our paladin. Every time we heard the train in the background of our DM's mic, he would go, "Blessed snake train god." And the other three of us would bellow, "Snake train!" That followed from the Ravnica campaign to the Pathfinder 2nd edition because one of the players from the Ravnica campaign, other than myself, was also in the Pathfinder 2nd edition campaign. Every time we heard the train, we started bellowing it, and our party mate, a buddy from my 1st edition Pathfinder group under the same DM, started doing so as well. For context, one of my players will always attempt to play the same character no matter the game. This holds true even for non-RPG games. He will always attempt to play a necromancer, preferably good if possible. Now, none of my group has a problem with this, though it has become the source of many, many jokes. The main joke we ended up making has more to do with the player than the character he makes. He tends to avoid role-playing, but also doesn't always pay attention. One thing that always catches his attention is anything associated with necromancy. Even a skeleton will do. So when we are trying to get his attention, we'll just call out random words related to necromancy. There have been times where his avoidance of role-playing does become slightly problematic though, hence another joke we make. His characters, if he gets to make them, are always neutral good, but effectively have no actual character to them. This has led to the joke that his character's personality is necromancy. That and generic good person. There is another joke regarding his character, but it mainly has to do with another character. There's another character in the group that is a chaotic evil warlock. He changed patrons halfway through the campaign for story reasons, still chaotic evil, but originally his patron was a kraken, so he had some water-related spells. For some reason that I cannot remember, he jokingly made a suggestion to the other players, necro player was AFK for this, that they could dig a hole in the ground and drown the necromancer. This, for some reason, has stuck and occasionally still gets suggested. They never go through with it, and it's never a serious suggestion, so there's never an actual problem with this. One of our members accidentally referenced Pokemon, and the DM rolled with it. Now, one of my edgy rogue secret pleasures is playing the game she killed Giovanni to get her Hollow Charizard card, and in a side mission that I got to run, I made our favorite NPC get a magic item that allowed his favorite Pokemon card, a Squirtle card, become an actual Squirtle that became his familiar. My side mission was set in the future of the campaign, so I don't know how this will expand on the future, but we'll have to wait and see. Jokes about our party having a group average of 8 intelligence, because each one of us only has 8 intelligence. We're not scared of mind flayers because they'll just ignore us, because they wouldn't get any nutrition from us. Getting lost for hours because we can't tie a simple knot, not knowing what something is, etc. Until our bard and wizard join. We now joke about throwing them at mind flayers and escape just in case we meet some. The resident bird brain of Kenku multiclassed into a knowledge cleric, so he's bait now too. Still has 8 intelligence, so we call him junk food. Hey everyone, Brian Von Vier here, back at it again to check in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, to subscribe, and to ring that bell to get notified whenever we post a new video or when we go live. And if you have a story to tell us, be sure to do so on our subreddit r/MrRipper to get a chance for us to read it here or live on stream. And if you want a little bit more goodies that have a little bit more TTRPG to them rather than just straight up D&D, make sure to check out our sub-channel, Riptovia, where there's a plenty of goddamn beautiful stuff over there, all ripe for the picking. That said, if you want to help out me, Brian Von Vier, please come and say hi to me on YouTube or on Twitch. I do a lot of D&D voice things and a lot of behind the scenes on how I record stories and videos like this one here. So come on, say hi. Links are all in the description below. As always, I try to leave things on a positive note, and today is no different. I've been through a heck of a lot in 2021. I mean a heck of a lot. There has been times where I wanted to just straight up give up on every human being, quit everything that I do, and sit down and just hammer out my work. Why? Because the world felt like crap aside from work. Work was all I had on my mind. But you know what? I felt that way only because I didn't have self-worth. And self-worth is so incredibly hard and rare to come by these days. But it's not impossible. You just have to find something that truly makes you happy in your own body, in your own mind, in your own life, and just roll with it. Sure, life ain't going to be perfect, and it's not going to be sunshine and rainbows every day of the week, but that doesn't mean you can't love yourself. Start off small, drink some water, make yourself breakfast every day, or at least once a week eat something really healthy. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something healthier than what you normally have. Either way, just treat yourself to something. You deserve it, and everyone else out there believes it too. Well, at least this narrator does. All the love to everybody, please be safe, be happy, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.